It is pretty much every homeowner's worst nightmare, right? That sound of dripping, or way worse, rushing water, where it should absolutely not be. And that sinking feeling of panic, it's real. But what you do in those first few moments can change everything. So today, we're going to walk through the professional process that takes your home from total crisis mode back to calm. So just imagine it for a second. You walk into a room and there's water spreading across your floor. What do? What happens next? That question is probably racing through your mind. And honestly, the answer is critical. All right, let's start right where the trouble begins. That moment, the disaster strikes. Yeah, this is the initial phase where everything feels completely chaotic, but it's also where the first and most important actions have to be taken. The tricky part is that some of these signs can be really subtle at first. You might just notice your wood floors are starting to warp a little, or maybe there's a faint water stain on the ceiling you didn't see before. Oh, and that musty smell? That is a huge red flag. These are basically the distress signals your home is sending out. And here is exactly why it becomes a race against the clock. In as little as 24 to 48 hours, that damp, humid environment becomes the perfect breeding ground for mold. And all of a sudden, this isn't just about some property damage anymore. It's a real potential health hazard for your family. That first hour, it is everything. Let's break down exactly what you need to do and what a real professional response looks like in that crucial first hour. Okay, think of this as your emergency game plan. First things first, if you can safely get to your main water valve, shut it off immediately. Next, start moving photos, electronics, anything you value to a completely dry spot. And here's a super important warning. Do not, under any circumstances, use a regular household vacuum. They are not built for this, and you could create a serious electrical hazard. Then make that call for professional help and start snapping pictures of everything for your insurance claim. So why is making that call so urgent? Well, because a rapid response is absolutely key. A certified team will aim to be at your door within 60 minutes. Getting them there that fast literally stops the water in its tracks and can seriously reduce the final repair bill. Now, you're probably going to hear this acronym thrown around, IICRC. It stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification. And all you really need to know is that it's the gold standard in the industry. It just means the technicians coming into your home are highly trained to follow proven, scientific methods to get the job done right. So once that immediate threat is under control, the real science begins. This next phase isn't just about grabbing a mop and bucket. It's a systematic process of removing every bit of moisture from the very bones of your house. It is so important to understand that not all water is the same. Professionals actually classify it into 3 distinct categories. Category 1 is clean water, like from a broken water supply line. Category 2 is called gray water, maybe from a dishwasher overflow. It has some contaminants. But Category 3, black water, that's the serious one. We're talking sewage or outside floodwater. It's a major health risk and requires hazmat-level safety measures. And this is where the pro equipment really makes a difference. We're talking about truck-mounted pumps that can suck out thousands of gallons of water an hour, massive commercial-grade dehumidifiers, and high-velocity air movers that create a vortex of drying power. They even use cool tech like thermal imaging cameras to see moisture hiding inside your walls, and special meters to prove, scientifically, that a structure is 100% dry. So you might be wondering, how long does this all take? Well, a typical project follows a pretty clear timeline. Day 1 is all about getting the water out and setting up all that high-tech gear. For the next 2 to 4 days, technicians come back daily to monitor the moisture levels. And then, usually around day 5, they do one final check to make sure everything meets strict industry drying standards. Now here's a really key distinction you'll hear: mitigation versus restoration. Think of it like this. Mitigation is the emergency room. It's all about stopping the bleeding and preventing any more damage from happening. Restoration, on the other hand, is the full recovery process that comes after. It's the rebuilding and the repairs that bring your home all the way back to how it was before. And that brings us to the final step in the process. After the whole structure is certified as dry, the focus shifts from damage control to reconstruction. This is the part where your house really starts to feel like a home again. And the rebuild phase is super thorough. It means replacing drywall, putting in new floors, and carefully repainting. The whole goal is to make sure everything matches your home's existing look perfectly, and it all ends with a final walkthrough with you to make completely sure you're happy with how everything turned out. Of course, we can't really talk about water damage without addressing the elephant in the room: insurance. Let's be honest, this part of the process can be super confusing, but the right professionals are totally equipped to help you navigate it. And here's the most important thing to remember: you do not have to do this alone. A good restoration company basically acts as your advocate. They speak the insurance company's language, and they handle all the paperwork and communication, which can make a huge difference in how fast your claim gets approved. And this is the kind of proof they provide to the insurer. They build this rock-solid case for you. It's a complete package of evidence: tons of photos, daily moisture readings that track the drying progress, super detailed estimates using the same software the insurance companies use, and of course, that final certificate of dryness. This level of detail leaves very little room for arguments. Which, of course, leads us to the million-dollar question, the one every single homeowner has: will my insurance policy actually cover all of this? Okay, so here's the general rule of thumb. Standard homeowners policies will typically cover what they call sudden and accidental damage. A burst pipe or a faulty washing machine hose that lets go. What's usually not covered is gradual damage, like from a slow leak you didn't fix, or major flooding from outside your home, which needs a whole separate flood insurance policy. So, after hearing all of this, the science, the process, the insurance headache, it all comes down to one big question: is calling in the professionals really worth it? And the answer is a definite yes. And here's why. It's about preventing catastrophic long-term problems like wood rot hiding inside your walls. It's about protecting your family from the serious health risks of mold. And it's about protecting your home's resale value by making sure you have that ironclad documentation that your insurance company needs. This quote really nails the whole value of it. The right professional team gives you a seamless, all-in-one solution. They stop the damage, they deal with the insurer, and they manage the entire project from start to finish, so you aren't left juggling a bunch of different contractors during what's already a super stressful time. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you understand the whole process, what's one simple thing you could do today, like right now, to be more prepared? Maybe it's just finding and putting a big, bright tag on your main water shutoff valve, or checking the hoses on your washing machine. Because honestly, being a little proactive is the very first step in protecting your home.